and welcome to a special episode of Cricket Predicta. I'm Sunil Ashkal, and on behalf of 1xBet, Wumeki Infrastructures, Delhi NCR, I welcome you on this exclusive discussion on the game that happened last night. CSK, of course, lost miserably, third loss of the season, but also we're going to be talking about today's big clash coming in. We have four big panelists today. Let me welcome one, Paul Dinet. Paul, welcome to the show. Let me just start by asking you. Last night, Chennai Super Kings suffered their third consecutive defeat of the season. Yes, Delhi Capitals handed them a 25-run loss, also notched up their third straight win. Batting first, Delhi scored 184 runs. In reply, CSK could only manage 158 for 5 in 20 overs. Vijay Shankar remained unbeaten on 69, and yes, MS Dhoni on 30. Is it the fading of the big star that we are seeing on the horizons? Let's get your view in on the discussion. Of course, Paul, what was the reason for CSK's loss? Was it mainly due to their slow batting, or did they get everything wrong at the end?
Well, it's certainly very easy. Fans today would have been entitled to say, listen, just go out there and try and hit every ball for six for ball one. And if you get out straight away, well, at least you didn't die wondering. So I think that's part of what would have been a frustrating night for CSK fans.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Also, moving on to our next question. This is, of course, on the new skipper, Axar Patel. He seems to be getting everything gold. Whatever he touches turns out to be gold. And that seems to have happened last night. The new captain, new team, new performance. Do you think everything is going right for Axar Patel?
Yeah, it's looking like a great decision. On the one hand, it was an obvious decision. He's been with the franchise for so long. He was the logical choice. But they had Mitchell Starc, Faf du Plessis, KL Rahul all arriving. That they could have chosen to appoint any one of those as captain. What I like about Patel is that he clearly is embracing the role. Sometimes it's actually the wrong thing to do to pick the next most senior player as to be the new captain if they're not up for it. But you can see from just the way that he's talking, he's really eager to do the job. And just even things like I mentioned it the other day, giving Mitchell Starc that extra over against Sunrisers Hyderabad, which got the wicket of Travis Head. It shows that he's not formulaic. The fact that they were going to give Starc just the 2 overs and then bring him back at the end for 2 overs. Axar had the confidence and the intelligence to make that change. I like as well, the quotes from Abhishek Parole saying how Axar is kind of like someone that they all love and they enjoy. He's a good presence in the dressing room and they're really eager to play for him. So, yeah, he looks like a fantastic choice as captain.
Well, we're also talking about Rajasthan Royals. Jofra Archer and Yashasvi Jaiswal seem to have getting it right. You know what happened with Jofra Archer in the first game, most expensive bowler in the history of IPL. But again, he seems to be coming back. Your views?
Well, Jaiswal's innings was certainly welcome, but I've never considered him out of form. I think he's one of the stars of the game. Never been worried about him. The interesting one has been Jofra Archer. From the first game of the season, none for 76, the worst figures in IPL history. He's steadily improved since then, and his first over last night was one of the most captivating overs in the IPL I've seen in a long time. That first ball to dismiss Priyansh Arya just moved away enough, very quick, would have got most batters in the world out. Then Shreyas Iyer comes out, plays 2 sumptuous lofted extra cover drives and looks in a different class. Then it's interesting, Michael Clark in commentary made note of the next ball that no one kind of noticed at the time, but it was a wicked bouncer that went fiercely down the leg side. And Shreyas Iyer watched it go, and the speed gun came up at about 152 kilometres per hour. Anyone who's played cricket, sometimes if they face the fast ball that's gone through to the keeper has thought, gosh, I wouldn't want my head to be in the way of that the next one. Well, 2 balls later, I sort of strangely backed away, got exposed his stumps and got cleaned up by Jofra Archer. Clark attributed that to the bouncer playing in his mind. Whether that's true or not, it's hard to say. But what is true is that Jofra Archer at his best is one of the most exciting figures in world cricket. I've always got an eye to the Ashes, and if Archer can be around in the Ashes next summer in Australia, it will be truly box office. So it is pretty special to see him back up and firing after all the injury troubles that he's had.
Paul, at a time when things are not going right for Pakistan, their performance, their records, their administration, their infrastructure, and now the reaction of Khushdil Shah's towards a fan after Pakistan's lost yesterday against the New Zealand. Do you think it calls for some kind of disciplinary action?
Yeah, I saw that incident. Seems like they were Afghan fans who were speaking in Pashto, which I think Khujdul Shah understands as well. So, yeah, it was a nasty, unpleasant affair. It sort of raises the greater point that cricket's often grappling with, like that fans who pay their money and turn up, that historically there's been a fair degree of latitude allowed. That the whole idea is if you've paid your money, you can say whatever you want. But as the modern era has come, we've realised that that's not the case. There are certain things that can't be said and that you've got to respect the players more. I don't know the specifics of this particular incident, so it's hard to comment. I do know a little anecdote from back 90 odd years ago during the Bodyline series in Australia that Douglas Jardine, who was probably the most hated man in Australia at the time, was swatting away flies on the field, and one of the Australian fans yelled out, "Leave our flies alone. They're the only friends you've got in this country, Jardine."
Thank you, Paul, for your candid remarks. Of course, we are also joined by Stanley Chiodza, the former Zimbabwean coach. Stanley, welcome to the show. Gujarat Titans top three batters, Gill, Sai Sudarshan and Jos Butler. Yes, they've all been in superb form this season. Will Hyderabad's biggest challenge today will be stopping this informed top order?
Sunil, thank you once again for having me on the show. Well, for SRH, first and foremost, before they can even look at the batting lineup of the Gujarat Titans, they have to take stock of their performances this season. Have they been good enough? Are they putting in the work? Are they putting in the hard yards that are formidable enough to be able to hand a batting lineup like of the Gujarat Titans? You know, to be honest, it hasn't gone according to plan. Okay, things have not just been gelling in that bowling unit, and the results are there to see. You know, for instance, Mohammad Shami, Pat Cummins, these guys have conceded runs at an economy rate of 10 to 12.3 respectively, and they've only picked up 3 wickets apiece. Okay, and then if you look at also the other options that they've tried between Adam Zampa and Bjorn Mulder from South Africa in the middle period, they have not managed to impress either. You know, SRH have averaged under 5 wickets per game and have the highest economy rate among all the teams this season so far. So that's pressure alone, you know. So it just goes, it gets worse statistically speaking. They have an average of 10 runs to the over in each phase of the game. And then you look at the back end where they're averaging close to 17 runs to the over. So these are the nitty-gritties. These are the stats. This is the harsh reality that they need to solve, that they need to look at and say, hey, how do we go one better? Because with this current performance, bowling to a batting lineup of the Gujarat Titans, they will cash in. Okay. So before you look at the opposition, you then need to look at, I'm sure the bowling coach would have sat this unit down and had these points in discussion. Just say, gentlemen, we've not been performing to the highest standard and the quality of what the players and the artillery that we have in this team can do. Okay, so it's important that they look at those nitty-gritties because they're facing a formidable batting lineup.
Sunrisers Hyderabad were feared as the most explosive batting lineup with firepower, with the appetite to score 300 odd runs. Playing at home and away can be very distressing for some players. Do you think Sunrisers have still not arrived to the party?
Well, Sunil, it's a different new year, different new season altogether. You know, the last season, the SRH were trendsetters with regards to their batting unit. You know, they pretty much led all the charts in all its different compartments with regards to batting. However, it's a different ball game. It's like as if the coin has flipped. But up and above that, you know, they were really heavily dependent on their top order last season in terms of setting the tone. Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma, these guys were brilliant in the power play. That just hasn't gone according to plan this season. Okay, these guys have not been explosive and have really struggled. They haven't made the same impact in the power play like they did last season. Ishan Kishan came in, you know, scored a fantastic a century for SRH early on. He hasn't managed to build on that. You know, his initiation into the new franchise, you know, he hasn't built on it. Okay, so what has this meant? Without the top order not putting in consistent performances, this has exposed the middle order by them coming in early, okay, and you got to give credit also to the opposition bowlers for putting a challenge, into this brand or style of play that we've seen from the SRH from last season. So the middle order's been having to do a lot of the work. Okay, so that means you can't score as quickly as you can, because back last season the middle order's job was to pile on, and supplement the good start that Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma had started. So playing at home, the one thing that is good for SRH is that they've maintained the majority of their batting side. They haven't really tinkered or played around with that. So these are guys well known and well accustomed to these conditions. I think, and I see them putting on runs on the board today.
Well, at this very ground, at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium, Pacers have dominated 18 in 80 IPL matches. Over 450 wickets have been taken by the Pacers. The spinners have got a meager turnout of 195. Do you think Pacers will again play and rule the roost here?
Well, Sunil, as usual at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium, seamers are expected to bowl the majority of the overs. However, I think it's key also to have good spinners who can hold their own even in conditions that do not, help them at all. And I think Gujarat Titans have got two fantastic spinners in terms of Rashid Khan, but up and above Rashid Khan, how good has Sai Kishore been? The left arm spinner has held his own. And I like the options that he's been using, especially sticking to coming around the wicket, even to left-hand batsmen, getting it to go across. So here's a bowler who's thinking, who's trying to work out options in trying to be effective, in trying to force mistakes, in trying to get those dot balls in, up and above that, making sure he's trying to bowl his best ball, So when you then look at SRH, they've every now and then in this season so far, they've opened even with Abhishek Sharma, so spinners will play a part. That's a given. They will play a part, obviously in limitation, with regards to the fact that the conditions here do not really assist spin. But yes, the bottom line is the seamers are expected to do job. The fact that you can bowl your hard stock ball and then change of pace, your cutters, your slow ball bouncers, the big boundaries just aid that as well, with the batsman trying to take on the big shots. It just helps. However, for Gujarat Titans, they will be missing Kagiso Rabada, and he's someone who's really brilliant when it comes to taking pace off. Would be nice to see who slots in his position, and can he live up to the big boots of an individual like Kagiso Rabada.
Well, thank you. We are joined by Noel David, the former Indian skipper, who's got a thing or two to speak and make an observation about the off spinners in the IPL. But we'll leave it to that for now. In the head-to-head record between the Hyderabad Sunrisers and Gujarat Titans, Gujarat holds the upper hand, with Hyderabad not having a great deal of season so far. You're from Hyderabad. What do you make up of the entire situation? They were suddenly, from top of the table, they've suddenly come down. Your views?
The only way that Sunrisers can bounce back in this match is if they are consistent in all three departments. The batting, the bowling, and the fielding has to be good to win this game today. That also on the home soil. I think if they lost 3 games is due to their lack of consistency. The batting has not been up to the standard what they set the tone in the first game. I think the bowling has not been so far so good. The fielding has let them down on quite a number of occasions, a lot of drop catches. I think these 3 departments have to be come together as one, because if Sunrisers need to get back, as I said, if they need to get back into the winning streak, and if they want to stay alive in this competition, I think they have to be consistent in all 3 departments, because they cannot only rely on the batting order at all. Because the batting order sometimes clicks, and so far they've been failing, because 170, 180 with the bowling what they have is not enough. They have to par their total of 280 or 290, which they can do it if they are consistent in their batting. Then only they can defend that total with their bowling. Otherwise, I think they cannot restrict or or defend themselves with what bowling they have. The fielding, the catches has to be taken whenever it comes to them. The bowling, the batting, it's key important that Travis Head or Abhishek Sharma or Ishan Kishan give them that flying start which they are expecting all the time. And in between Nitish Reddy and Ankit Verma, who's been performing, I think they need to chip in all the time. They have to be a consistent performance in the batting also. Then only they can bounce back and stay alive in this competition.
No, this is how the mighty fall. You've seen Sunrisers Hyderabad doing an explosive start. The beginning, tall claims, big performance, big batters, long sixes, but suddenly they seem to have just ran out of their battery power. It seems like a phone without a charger. What has gone wrong in your assessment of the overall situation behind their and the reason behind their slump?
After that convincing win against RR in the first encounter in the 18th edition of the IPL, we all expected that Sunrisers will repeat the 2024 performance. The way they played last year, we all expected them to repeat it of the first game. But unfortunately, the last three games was so disappointing, which has let them down, badly. I think the main reason is that they're not been consistent in whatever they do. The batting has not come good. The bowling has not been up to that standard what we expected. The fielding, there were a lot of drop catches. I think this is the main three causes of which has let them down in the past three games which they have lost. I think they cannot only depend on their batting all the time where they get a total of 280, 290 all the time. It's not possible because you're going to play on different grounds and different conditions, so they cannot expect the batsmen to score all the time the 300 mark what they have set up this year. They have to think about what they have to do in their batting also. The bowling has to be strong. They need to have bowlers who can restrict the opposition or defend their total. That is key point. Along with their fielding, they cannot drop catches at regular intervals. There were many catches being dropped. So I think they have to rethink about themselves if they want to stay alive in this competition. The batting, Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma or Ishan Kishan or Nitish Reddy, they have to think about their batting because they are the mainstay of Sunrisers in the top order. If they click, I think down the order, the other guys who come in can chip in. Especially, we all are this thing on Ankit Verma, who's been consistent with the bat so far. I think because of him, we are able to pass that total of 150 or 160, you see. So we have to think about it. The bowling, I don't think they have that bowling unit. Leaving Mohammad Shami, who's experienced, I don't think they have that experience what they had last year. Bhuneshwar and Natarajan, who were so experienced in the depth, especially Bhuneshwar, who could swing the ball initially and get wickets. Natarajan, who came later on and restricted with their depth yorkers and the slower ones. I think they are missing the service of these two guys. The fielding, as I said, the fielding unit has to expect and aspire and take all those catches which come towards them. So if they do this, then only they have a chance to win the match against Gujarat Titans. Otherwise, Gujarat Titans will take them because they are a very strong unit in all three departments. They come good. They have the captain Shubham Gill. They have the consistent performer Sai Sudarshan and rest to follow. I think they are very good. They have good bowlers. So I think if they need to beat Gujarat Titans today, Sunrisers on the home soil, that is in Hyderabad, I think all the three departments has to pass out today with great colours.
Thank you, Noel. We let go of one off spinner and get another off spinner now. A very good commentator, but before that, he was the most exclusive and the most widely respected umpire for the IPL, Anil Chaudhary. Anil, well, very few know that I've seen him bowl off spin during the club sessions at Subhania, and that's why he knows a thing or two about the off spinners. Interestingly, the toss record onto this match is completely different. On this pitch, 64% of the teams that who have gone ahead and lost the toss, yes, 64% of the teams that have lost the toss have won the match. What do you make up of this situation? Is it better to lose a toss today to win the match?
There is a data about Hyderabad ground that teams, those who lose toss, they win. it is about 60%, 64% actually. I don't know how it is going to work in today's game. But yes, I think Hyderabad should bat well, and toss is not a consideration. The batting is a problem with them because Hyderabad is a batting team, and unless they bat well, either bat first or second, they are going to struggle. So they did well when they were batting first. So they should do that. Why? Why not? Because most of the teams, they are going for bowling first because of due. So I think teams should go with their strength rather than too much focusing on due, because normally the pitches are good, and unless you bat well, it is not going to work. So I don't think toss should be consideration for winning and losing.
Well, it's time for head-to-head, and the best is Siraj. Yes, Siraj and Ishan Kishan. Their head-to-head seems to be very interesting. Ishan Kishan has an excellent record. The scoring strike rate is 51 from 49 deliveries, which means every delivery Ishan Kishan scores 3 runs. That's a different record altogether. Will he continue his dominance against Siraj today? Well, it needs to be seen, and your views.
Ishant Kishan, who has scored 100 in first game, and he was in good flow. He was batting like you are listening a good music. Siraj also bowling very well. Siraj bowling good Yorkers, good pace also. Actually, the pace is encouraging, and he is in good rhythm. So the battle between two will be great. As per records, it is like he has scored 151 strike rate on 49 balls. So that way, Ishan has done well. But again, new day, new pitch, new match, and you have to execute also, because records are good for like whatever you've done in the past, but every day is different. Ishant did well in first game, but after that 2 games he is struggling, so he need to stay at the pitch and spend some time. That will help. And good to see that Siraj is bowling well after changing the team. He is in, the pace is different, his rhythm is good, his body language is slightly better. So good contest between two, and it will have an effect on the game. So Ishan Kishan versus Siraj, let's see how it goes. We'll wait for it.
Thank you. We'll let you go for your commentary stint. Anil, we're also pinching Sharandeep Singh, the former Indian off-spinner and also cricket selector. Sharandeep, welcome to the show. We'll ask you a very pointed question on the spinner Rashid Khan, who has dominated Henrik Larsson so far, conceding just 116 strike rate and dismissing him once in every 18 deliveries. Will Shubman Gill bring Rashid early on to maintain the early upper hand between the head-to-head between the Klassen and Rashid Khan? What do you think is the entire takeaway on this?
Hyderabad, who played his first game brilliantly, scored 286 runs, but after that, they're not scoring much runs, losing all their games. So today is a crucial game, and there is some crucial questions about it. In this game, did Rashid Khan has dominated Henrik Larsson so far, according to his CR statics. But yeah, it's a tough game. Means Rashid Khan is a match winner bowler, and he can give trouble to the Henrik Larsson once again, because Henrik Larsson at the moment, he's not exactly the one of the form his team needs from him. He's struggling a bit. He's not getting a big run. So might be Rashid Khan in today's game. He might be put again pressure on Henrik Larsson.
Well, it's the clash between the two titans. One is a top order batsman, Shubman Gill, and Mohammad Shami, who opens the bowling. Shami has dismissed Gill twice in the IPL history, and both are opening for their respective sides, Gujarat Titans and SRH. So who will get the upper hand, considering Shami knows a thing or two about the late swing, the speed and the pitch overall, and Shubman Gill seems to be in a fine touch. Your views on this, Sharandeep?
Shubman Gill, and he's going to face Mohammad Shami, who is a part of Gujarat Titans first 2 seasons. One they won, one they lost in the finals. Now he's the part of SRH. So we saw in the previous games in the future that Mohammad Shami has dismissed Shubman Gill twice. So is today Mohammad Shami is going to do that, because Shubman Gill is not in one of his best forms, and again Mohammad Shami, he's also gone for so many runs. So it's a big battle between both of them. Shubman Gill is looking for runs on it with this bat to help his team, and Mohammad Shami look for some early wickets in this game to get SRH put on the top. So there is a big battle between Shubman Gill and Mohammad Shami, and there is Rashid Khan versus Henry Klassen. So stay tuned with us, everyone. We're gonna see you very soon in this game, and let's see which the both of them get this battle done.
Well, that's what you heard. The five of our top guests. We started off with Paul Dinette, went on to Stanley Chiodza, who's the former Zimbabwean bowling coach. We also had Anil Chaudhary, one of the greatest umpires of IPL. And we had Noel David, the Super Sunrisers, super fan, super coach, super former player, and also Sharandeep Singh, the former Indian spinner and the former Indian selector. Well, that's all we had time for this wonderful show, Cricket Predicta, live from Sharjah at the Marbella Resorts. This is Sunil Yashkala saying thank you, adios, and see you tomorrow.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.